Alright guys, welcome to the video here. What we got going on in this video is we are replacing mulcher teeth on a cat mulcher. You can see I've already done a bunch of them. They're marked with the red. The yellow ones are the ones I still have to do. This is a super easy process. You only need a couple tools, but most importantly you need a torque wrench that goes up to at least 500 foot-pounds. So let's get started. Alright guys, let me show you the hardware here. This is the new hardware. Make sure you replace all of this when you replace the tooth. The washer is really important. It is a concaved or convex washer, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you put the raised side towards the nut when you install it. Alright guys, I'm going to be taking these off of my Harbor Freight Earthquake Air Impact because I got to break the dust off it. I never use it, so I wanted to use it for this. But guys, a 1/2-inch impact should take these off for the most part. Some of them are going to be tough. I had to get out my Milwaukee 1/2-inch, and guys, Milwaukee hits harder than anybody. But for most of them, my regular impact did it. Alright guys, most of these bolts came out really easy just by hand. Some of them you got to give some persuasion with a hammer. But guys, make sure that the old washer did come out of up in that hole. And then make sure that you take your pocket screwdriver or something and clean out the mating surface inside there. You don't want to leave any dirt or anything that could affect the torque or the setting of the bolt and hardware. Next, guys, you're just going to take a hammer and you're just going to knock this old tooth off. Just keep beating it. It'll come off pretty easy. You just got to make good contact and not hit it with your purse. Just for demonstration here, guys, I'm going to show you how much harder the Milwaukee hits and how much faster it takes off this other nut. It's a very big difference. Alright guys, so the nut is loose, but I did mess up here. I didn't keep my hand on top of this, and that bolt slipped up. So I had to sit there and work it back into the groove to where it would catch. So I could take the rest of the nut off. Just make sure you hold the top of that with your hand or something. That way you don't have to waste time like I did with letting the bolt come up. Alright guys, now make sure you clean up the mating surface on the other side. I used my die grinder with a buffing wheel. There's going to be rust and dirt and all that crap. Make sure you clean that all up. You don't want to have any type of stuff that could affect the torque or the setting of the tooth. So always clean stuff up. Just like when you're putting a track together, guys, you got to make sure there's no paint or anything like that in between the mating surfaces. You always want bare metal to bare metal, always. To get these teeth set, guys, you just slide them in and tap them down with a hammer and you'll know when they stop. Alright guys, now comes the tricky part. You have to basically block the mulcher head from rotating backwards so you can torque the bolt. So I used a cribbage block and I balanced it off of the track and off of the cribbage, as you see the stack of it. It's holding the mulcher head for safety. I did that variation for most of them, but for this one I actually stuffed it in there and it held nicely. You can see me push down. Now we're going to torque it. So guys, the torque on this, I went all the way to the max at 435 foot-pounds. There is a torque range in CIS. I don't remember it now, but for these, I did torque them to 435 foot-pounds. Alright guys, I got to finish up these mulcher teeth, and then I have to do a bunch of metal working on that metal guard slash pivot point with all the rust on it. You'll see me shake it here in a second. But guys, this repair is incredibly expensive. Our cost as a dealer, as a cat dealer, this costed us over $250 a tooth just for the parts. And that includes the tooth and the bolt kit. Obviously, if you're buying the parts, it's even more expensive than that. So you got to think there's 32 or 36 teeth on this. I don't exactly remember how many are on this mulcher, but it gets real expensive real fast. So make sure, guys, you take care of your teeth and don't break them because they're expensive. You can see me shaking that thing that's about to fall off. Everything's in slow-mo right now. But anyways, guys, that's going to sum this video up. If you enjoyed this video, please shoot me a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks, guys.